Good evening. Tonight, we bring you a story that has left not just Alaska, but the entire world in a state of shock and disbelief. Anchorage Airport is on total lockdown. All flights, both incoming and outgoing, have been grounded. Federal agents are stationed everywhere, their presence unmistakable and urgent. Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport, Alaska's vital link to the world, has gone silent. The hum of activity that once defined this place has vanished. The usual roar of jet engines is gone, replaced by an eerie quiet that hangs heavy in the air, as if the city itself is holding its breath. For thousands stranded inside, it's the start of a long, uncertain night. Families huddle together, travelers anxiously check their phones, searching for any scrap of information. Outside, police and federal vehicles form a tight perimeter, their lights flashing in the cold November air. The temperature drops, but the tension only rises. News crews gather at the barriers, their cameras trained on the silent terminal, but no one is allowed in or out. The flow of information is tightly controlled. Military trucks now replace taxis, and the official silence only deepens the mystery. Soldiers stand guard, their faces set and unreadable. No explanations are given, no timeline is offered. This is no routine emergency. Something extraordinary is unfolding. Fragmented reports trickle in. Pilots are being diverted. Baggage handlers have been evacuated, and airport staff are told to leave their posts. Armed agents move swiftly, sealing off gates and locking down security checkpoints. SWAT teams secure every entrance and exit. The message is clear. This is a national security event. The highest levels of government are now involved. What could be so threatening, so urgent, that it would shut down one of the world's busiest cargo hubs in an instant? Anchorage's airport is more than a transit point, it's Alaska's lifeline, connecting remote communities to the rest of the world. The shutdown severs a critical link, leaving not just a city, but an entire region and global supply chain in limbo. Essential goods, food, and medicine are now delayed. As the hours pass, shock turns to grim realization. Whatever's happening is serious enough to warrant this unprecedented response. The uncertainty is palpable. The world is watching, waiting for answers. Newsrooms across the globe scramble for updates, while families at home hold their breath. The silent skies over Anchorage hold a city and a nation captive. The first light of dawn brings no relief, only more questions. The stakes have never been higher. As the world waits, the fate of Anchorage, and perhaps much more, hangs in the balance. Inside Anchorage's terminals, time seems to freeze, as if the world outside has been put on pause. The usual bustle and movement are replaced by a strange, suspended stillness. Confusion gives way to anxious resignation as thousands of travelers are stranded, their plans unraveling with every passing minute. The uncertainty in the air is almost tangible, settling over the crowd like a heavy blanket. Families are separated by closed gates, business trips are ruined before they begin, and tourists find themselves trapped in a polished wilderness of glass and steel, far from the adventures they imagined. Departure boards flash a single, unchanging message: all flights canceled. The words glow relentlessly, a digital echo of disappointment and frustration. Airport staff, now crisis managers, move through the crowds offering blankets and bottled water. They do their best to comfort, but have no real answers to give, only small gestures of care. Their calm in the face of chaos is a small act of defiance, a quiet reassurance that not everything is out of control. Their steady presence is a lifeline for those adrift in uncertainty. Strangers share phone chargers and stories, forming brief alliances in the waiting areas. Small acts of kindness, an offered snack, a shared laugh, spark hope and remind everyone of their shared humanity. Yet tension simmers beneath the surface. Every armed agent patrolling the halls, every abrupt PA announcement only heightens the anxiety, making the crisis feel even more immediate and inescapable. Outside, the Alaskan winter bites with icy winds and swirling snow. Inside, the atmosphere is cold, in its own way, chilled by uncertainty and the collective unease of those trapped within. The vibrant energy of a major airport, once filled with laughter and anticipation, is replaced by a sterile quiet. The silence is broken only by the occasional announcement or the shuffle of restless feet. Empty runways loom through terminal windows, stretching into the distance as a constant reminder of the crisis. The planes sit idle, grounded by forces beyond anyone's control. For those trapped inside, the airport is no longer a gateway to adventure or reunion. It's a holding cell, a place where time drags and hope flickers uncertainly. Everyone waits. Prisoners of a crisis they can't see or understand. The uncertainty is suffocating, and every minute feels like an hour as they long for answers or simply a way out. To truly grasp the magnitude of this shutdown, you first need to understand what makes Anchorage so unique and vital, not just to Alaska, but to the entire world. This is no ordinary airport. It's a global crossroads, strategically positioned just hours by air from most of the industrialized world. Every day, hundreds of flights from Asia, North America, and Europe intersect here, making Anchorage a pivotal hub in the global aviation network. In fact, it's the 5th busiest cargo airport on Earth, serving as a critical link that connects 3 continents. Massive cargo planes land and take off around the clock, moving everything from electronics to fresh produce. Over 80% of Alaska's goods, including essential items like food, medicine, and building supplies, pass through this airport. Without it, store shelves across the state would quickly go empty. For Alaska's remote villages, many of which are inaccessible by road, Anchorage is a lifeline. Its closure isn't just an inconvenience, it's a direct threat to survival, especially during harsh winters. The airport also shares runways with Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, a major U.S. military base. This makes Anchorage a cornerstone of American defense strategy in both the Arctic and Pacific regions, supporting rapid military deployment and national security. Shutting it down signals a threat severe enough to paralyze not only global logistics, but also military readiness. The ripple effects are immediate and far-reaching. Here, the world's supply chains, Alaska's survival, and U.S. security all converge. Anchorage is the beating heart of a vast, interconnected system. On this cold November day, everything stopped. Planes were grounded, shipments delayed, and the consequences rippled across continents, disrupting businesses and lives worldwide. The world felt the shock. Anchorage's silence echoed everywhere, a stark reminder of how deeply we all depend on this remote Alaskan hub. The escalation was swift. What began as a ground stop became a full-scale lockdown within minutes. Pilots were ordered to divert. Planes on the ground returned to gates. The airport's rhythm shattered. Then, the military arrived. FBI command posts, convoys of armored vehicles, and elite security forces swept the terminals. The airport was no longer just closed, it was occupied. Airspace for 50 miles became a no-fly zone, patrolled by fighter jets. The message: the federal government and military were in total control. Secrecy reigned, creating a terrifying information vacuum. Soldiers patrolled concourses. No explanations were given. Was the threat outside, or already inside? The speed and scale of the response said it all. Something had gone terribly wrong. Anchorage was now a fortress. The shutdown's impact was immediate and personal. Remote Alaskan villages waited for medicine and food that wouldn't arrive. The fishing industry faced millions in losses as perishable goods sat idle. Tourists and families were stranded. Medical emergencies delayed. Globally, supply chains ground to a halt. Factories missed parts. Costs soared. The closure of one airport created bottlenecks across continents. The world saw how fragile our interconnected systems truly are. From remote villages to global boardrooms, the silence at Anchorage was felt. It was a stark reminder: one crisis can halt the world. As agents and military teams worked, the true threat emerged. This wasn't a cyber attack or a bomb scare, it was a dirty bomb plot. The goal: spread radioactive contamination, not just destroy, but terrorize. Anchorage was the perfect target. Contaminate the airport, and you contaminate the global supply chain. Radioactive cargo could have reached the world, spreading fear and chaos. Intelligence pointed to a radiological threat hidden in the cargo system. Thousands of tons of shipments, one deadly device. The shutdown was a desperate move to freeze everything and begin the search. Somewhere inside, a radiological dispersal device, an RDD, was waiting. It could be in any container, on any plane. The clock was ticking, the threat was real and imminent. The authorities raced to find it before it was too late. The world held its breath. With the threat identified, the hunt began. FBI, Homeland Security, military and nuclear experts converged, bringing radiation detectors and bomb robots. The airport became a high-stakes forensic lab. Analysts sifted through cargo manifests, searching for anomalies. On the ground, hazmat teams swept warehouses and container yards, detector in hand. False alarms were common, but the search pressed on. The cold Alaskan weather and the vast number of containers made the task grueling. Every minute mattered. The device could be detonated remotely at any time. Inside the command center, a map of the airport was slowly cleared, section by section. The search was a race against time and the elements. Would they find the bomb before disaster struck? The tension was unbearable. The breakthrough came from a data analyst. A suspicious shipment from Eastern Europe, routed through shell companies, caught the FBI's eye. Its weight was off, its destination fake. Cross-referenced with intelligence, it became the prime suspect. A robot approached the container. Gamma radiation confirmed the threat. Inside, cesium-137, shielded and wired to C4, set to detonate by satellite phone. The shutdown had trapped the device before it could be loaded onto a flight. Bomb technicians disarmed it with surgical precision. Meanwhile, the FBI tracked the perpetrators through digital clues. Working with international partners, they uncovered a transnational terror cell. The plot was sophisticated, the intent catastrophic. The crisis was averted by seamless collaboration. From the first tip to the final takedown, disaster was stopped in its tracks. As planes finally took off from Anchorage, relief swept the globe. The crisis was over, but the lessons were clear. The incident exposed modern vulnerabilities and the power of preparedness. Interagency cooperation proved essential. No single agency could have stopped this alone. The shutdown highlighted the need for resilient supply chains and robust security. Alaskans, used to hardship, pulled together, showing unity in the face of fear. The world saw that vigilance and collaboration can defeat even the most sophisticated threats. The return of jet engines signaled more than normalcy. It was a victory over terror. Anchorage's silent skies became a symbol of resilience. By working together, a catastrophe was averted. The world, once held captive by fear, moved forward, stronger and wiser.